안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Thursday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon-Soo in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-literature, K-sports, K-everything. And we're going to do all of that with our co-host Bella Kim joining me in the studio. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa, and hello to everyone joining us today on The Culture Wave. I'm Bella, back again to co-host and fill you guys in with some exciting K-entertainment stories.
Bella, there's been a lot of hype evolving around K-contents this week. I mean, Squid Game 3 is out, which has been now watched by some tens of millions of people from around the world. And now we're also awaiting a K-animation film to be released here in Korea that many people, including myself, have been waiting for.
That is correct. And we're actually going to begin with that on our K-entertainment segment.
Right. And that is with you, Bella.
Yes.
So, The King of Kings, that's the one that we're talking about today. I mean, after its huge box office success in North America. Finally, the countdown is running. We're going to be watching it here in Korea as well. And you're going to give us a rundown of a press conference about the movie?
Right, that is correct. On Wednesday, The King of Kings held a press conference in Seoul where the director and scriptwriter Jang Sung-ho talked about the overall making of the film. Jang planned to target the North American market, knowing it was the only way to recover the substantial budget needed for the high level of quality he envisioned. The film is actually Jang's debut film as a director. He explained that he chose Life of Jesus Christ for his debut film because there had never been a major animated film dedicated to the story of Jesus. The King of Kings already set a new record in the US as it became the highest-grossing Korean film, surpassing director Bong Joon-ho's Oscar-winning Parasite, and is set to be released in hit theaters in over 90 nations across the globe by the end of this year. And for people in Korea, you can watch it in theaters on July 16th.
Can't wait for that. I mean, it's very impressive that this was actually his debut film, and that's also what many audiences in North America were surprised about as well. Now, let's talk about another film. Now, this is related to a K-pop group. So usually when we talk about K-pop artists and movies, I think we talk about concerts that are played on the screen, but this time it's a different kind of movie.
That is correct. Day 6 will make their screen debut with 6 Days, a cinematic road movie that follows the band over 6 days in the United States. On Wednesday, Day 6 released a trailer for the film that begins with their hit song, Welcome to the Show. In the trailer, the members of Day 6 travel to the US, briefly experiencing joyful vacation vibes before facing unpredictable events. The film reflects on youth, friendship, and the group's 10-year journey. It will feature narrative storytelling with live performances, busking scenes, and also personal reflections. 6 Days is set to premiere in theaters in August.
Okay, so please let us know when the exact date comes out.
Will do.
And last but not least, let's talk about a rookie boy group.
K-pop boy group A-hope debuted and simultaneously topped the domestic music charts. Their debut song, Rendezvous, released on Tuesday, reached #1 on Buck's Top 100 real-time chart immediately after its release. On top of their debut song, all the other tracks in their first mini-album, Who We Are, entered the chart as well. The 9-member group was formed through a reality competition show. A-hope, based on the Korean word for 9, is an acronym for All-Time Hall of Famer, reflecting the group's ambition to reach the K-pop Hall of Fame. With a pleasant start, A-hope has officially launched their debut activities, including holding a commemorative pop-up store and also performing on music programs.
Already a very successful start. I mean, they are actually the first boy group under F&F Entertainment, and I heard that a number of members, they had experience in other groups already, so they are rookies, but I guess with lots of experience already.
For sure.
Well, thank you very much, Bella, for that, and stick around.
Will do.
And now let's go over to our AI anchor, Ari, for other culture-related news. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. More than 2.7 million people visited the National Museum of Korea in the first half of this year, marking the highest turnout since it was relocated to Yongsan in 2005. The museum says the total number of visitors from January to June represents a whopping 64% increase compared to the same period last year. The number of foreign visitors also set a new record, reaching around 97,000, surpassing last year's figure and continuing an upward trend. In preparation for the APAC summit set to be held in Gyeongju this October, Korea will expand its mobile QR payment system to 20,000 locations to enhance shopping convenience for foreign tourists. The rollout will be focused on key regional destinations, including Gyeongsangbuk-do Province, where the APAC summit host city is located, and nearby southern cities of Daegu and Busan. The QR system, based on Korea's EuroPay platform, is interoperable with 21 overseas mobile payment services, including Taiwan's PXPay and Malaysia's Touch 'n Go. Please note that a special promotion offering a 20% discount for users of Alipay, WeChat Pay, and Union Pay will run through December 31st. The Korea Railroad Corporation has launched a new travel package combining discounted rail fares with rural tourism experiences to boost regional tourism. The program offers 50% off train tickets, along with a rural tour pass priced at 17,900 won, which gives travelers 24-hour access to major tourist attractions and various hands-on activities. The package is available through December and covers Kimjae and Iksan in the Jeolla region, as well as Mungyang, Yeongju, and Andong in the Gyeongsang region. Additional packages covering the Gangwon and Chungcheong regions will be rolled out next month. For more information, visit Korail's official website www.korail.com or the mobile app Korail Talk. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
Korean literature has been adapted into films dating back to the 1960s and 70s. But after author Han Gang was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature last year, Korean literary works have garnered even greater attention in the global content market. Lee Eun-jin tells us more.
Korean author Chun Sun-lan's heartwarming science fiction novel, 1,000 Blues. Set in the near future where humanoid robots are commonplace, it tells the story of a robot jockey named Collie and a horse named Today, with the plot revolving around emotional connections. Hubble Publishing signed a 6-figure film adaptation deal with major film production company Warner Bros. Pictures. Though the exact value of the rights deal was not disclosed, it's reportedly $440,000 to $510,000 US. Published in 2020, 1,000 Blues was adapted into both a play and an original musical just last year in Korea, and is now set to meet audiences on global screens.
Usually, film deals are signed once the casting of actors and directors is confirmed. But in this case, an exception contract was signed, solely based on the storyline of the original novel. This suggests they have high expectations for the power of the story.
Another work with growing popularity is author Kang Ji-young's female-led action novel, Mrs. Shim is a Killer. The cult bestseller tells the story of a woman in her 50s whose skills as a butcher lead her to become a cold-hearted assassin. Its compelling plot attracted significant film and drama production interest, leading to rights deals worth over $750,000 US, including publishing deals with Doubleday in the UK, Harper in the US, and translation rights sold to over 10 countries.
We're receiving ongoing inquiries from Asia and South America, so we expect exports to expand even further. The story itself is engaging and relatable, rooted in universal themes while carrying a distinctly Korean sensibility. That's the book's greatest strength.
We've already seen a book-to-screen adaptation of author Baek Hina's Magic Candies. First published in Korean in 2017, a Japanese animation studio turned the picture book into a short animated film, which was even shortlisted for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. The film's success stemmed from its whimsical and heartwarming storytelling.
I really love fantasy, but not the kind that feels too far removed from reality. I prefer small, believable fantasies, the kind that make you think this could actually happen.
Other literary works making international strides include Chung Yoo-jung's The Good Son, which has sold film rights overseas, and Pen Hae-young's The Hole, which is already in Hollywood production and set for a North American release next year. Since the 2000s, as Hallyu took hold, the international expansion of K-literature into the film market has been accelerating and has been fueled further by milestones like the success of director Bong Joon-ho's film Parasite and Hangang's Nobel Prize in Literature. 이은진, 아리랑 뉴스.
Time for the latest in the world of K-sports. From a great achievement by Korean golfers and updates on the KBO's upcoming All-Star Game to football news. We are joined by our sportscaster Jason Lee in the studio, who will bring us all the highlights. Hello, Jason.
Hi,
Hello.
Jason.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon and good happy Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, different day for sports.
Yes, different day. So let's talk about the weekend, though. We're going to talk about LPGA first because we had not just one but two winners at the Dow Championship. Tell us about it.
Yeah, how cool is that? Not just one Korean winning, but a pair. Last weekend's LPGA event was a team event where players played with a partner of their choice. And that player didn't have to be necessarily from the same country as you. But in the end, it turned out that Lee So-mi and Im Ji-ni, who came out victorious after beating Lexi Thomas and Megan Kang, both of the U.S., in a playoff. Now, both Lee So-mi and Im Ji-ni were rookies in the LPGA Tour last year. So they're in their sophomore season. This was the first victory for both of them, and certainly very special, I'm sure, compared for the other pairs that were playing in the tournament, because you got two players from the same country that went from the Korean LPGA to the LPGA together.
Wow. So, Jason, how is a team event actually played? Do you just combine the scores of the pairs? So how does a team up even work?
Yeah, so this event was a little bit different. The actual way the tournament worked is that it was alternate shot for the first and third round. So what that means is each pair basically plays with one ball, and they alternate hitting the same ball, first shot, second shot, third shot, back and forth. Now, for the second and fourth rounds, each player plays their own ball, but the score is the better of the two. So if one player birdies the hole, whereas the other player pars it, then they would get a birdie for their score. Now, Lee So-mi and Im Jin-hee both had birdie putts on the 18th hole of the fourth round, which could have won them the tournament outright, but they both missed while Lexi Thompson birdied the final hole to force the playoff. But in that playoff, it went back to the alternate shot, and Im Jin-hee sank her birdie putt, which was set up nicely by Lee So-mi's shot off the tee. And Megan Kang actually had a shorter putt to make, but she didn't make it. That gave the Korean pair the victory. And by the way, they become the 17th and 18th champions on the tour this season, as the tour has not had a two-time champion all year. It's been a different champion at every single event so far.
Wow. So congratulations to both of them.
Yeah.
And now let's move on to the Korean Baseball League. Now, first off, yesterday on Wednesday, we achieved a very big milestone. The season's total attendance has surpassed 7 million fans, and that is for the fastest time ever with just 405 games. Last year was also a record. That's when we had 487 games, and that just with still around a week or a little bit more of a week left until the All-Star game, right?
That's definitely an amazing record. And speaking of All-Star game, we briefly mentioned last week on the starting lineup of All-Star of this year, which is happening next weekend. But I understand the rest of the team is now finalized. So what can we look forward to in this All-Star game?
Yeah, that's right. The reserve players have now been added to the team by the managers. And I mentioned last week that Samsung's Kim Sung-yoon didn't get voted on despite leading the league with a .347 batting average. And I have to say that I was actually very surprised to see that he wasn't even selected as a sub either by his own manager, because Park Jin-man, the Samsung manager, is the manager for the team, and he elected to go with a pair of KT outfielders instead, An Hyun-min and Bae Jung-dae. Now, An is actually the front runner for Rookie of the Year with 15 home runs and a .337 average, so hey, I totally get it. But I was honestly a little surprised that Bae Jung-dae made the team based on his numbers so far this season. Meanwhile, fans can get another look at LG outfielder Kim Hyun-soo, as he has been selected to a record 16th All-Star appearance. That is one more than Samsung catcher Kang Min-ho, who will make his 15th appearance this season.
And we're now going to move over to football. So next week, the East Asia E1 football championships are going to kick off. The reason why I'm saying championships is because it's going to feature both the men's and the women's national soccer teams. And those matches will be held in Yongin, Suwon, and Hwasong. So what can you tell us about it just a few days ahead of its kickoff?
That's right. Coming up next week, it's going to be a lot of fun. The big story is that Hong Myung-bo has elected to go with mostly domestic players, so he is not calling on his European players for the tournament. Most of the players will be from the K-League, and a few also joining from the J-League in Japan as well. Jeon Jin-woo of Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors played really well in his first two games with the senior team last month, and I think he's going to be one of the guys that the team will try to use a lot. Joo Min-gyu is a bit older, at 35 years old now, but I think he's been playing really well in K-League 1, and I could see Hong Myung-bo counting on him a lot, especially for leadership with what's a bit of a lesser experienced team for the most part. Meanwhile, Korea's first game will be Monday against China at 8 p.m. at Yongin's Mira Stadium, and it should be worth your while to go check it out if you're in the area. Get to see the senior national team, which is always fun.
For sure. And speaking of Mira Stadium in Yongin, I did hear that it could be a host to a new professional soccer team as K-League is looking to expand. So please give us a detail on that as well.
Yeah, how exciting that that would be. There's actually 3 different teams that want to join K-League 2. Now, that's the league that is underneath K-League 1, and one of the bids is coming from Yongin that would use Mira Stadium as their home. The other bids are from the Paju Citizen, which is, of course, just north of Seoul, as well as Gimhae FC. They're like a suburb of Busan. And the 2 latter teams that I mentioned, they actually do play in K-League 3 right now, which is a semi-pro league. It's actually a league that does not yet feed into K-League 2 like the K-League 2 promotes into K-League 1 at this point. But there are plans to add K-League 3 and K-League 4, which exist right now as independent leagues, to eventually have promotion to K-League 2, but that's probably a couple of years away. As for Paju, Kimhae, and Yongin, I think one of them should get into K-League 2 next year. And, you know, it would make it a 14-team league if they do. So it makes sense to add at least one more to have the even numbers. And you've got to think that Paju and Kimhae would probably have the upper hand since they already have teams playing in K-League 3 right now.
That must be very exciting for soccer fans in the area.
Yeah.
Hosting soccer in the region. And staying with K-League, it was announced that this week that the league will be inducting 6 more members into the Hall of Fame. So who's being honored this time?
That's right. Yeah, the K-League, they created their Hall of Fame 2 years ago in 2023, which was the league's 40th anniversary. 6 members were selected for the inaugural induction, and 6 more were chosen for the second induction, which will take place every 2 years. Now, the 4 players that were selected this year were Yoo Sang-chul, Kim Byung-ji, Kim Ju-sung, and Dejan Demhanovic, along with coach Kim Ho and builder Jung Mong-jun. Yoo Sang-chul, you might remember, was a big part of Korea's 2002 World Cup team that went to the semifinals. Kim Byung-ji was also part of that team, but he actually never saw the field as he was the team's backup keeper. He also does hold the record, however, in the K-League for most games played as a keeper. Dejan Demhanovic is the first foreigner inducted into the league, and he's actually second all-time in goals scored, only behind Lee Dong-guk, who of course was inducted 2 years ago as an original member. Kim Ju-sung was league MVP back in 1997, and he was one of the top players in the league if we go back to the decade of the 90s.
Some legendary names there. Now we're going to move on, or actually continue with soccer, and we talked about Ki Sung-young last time, how he is parting with his former team FC Seoul, and fans were really not that happy about it, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. There was quite the protest to his release and news of him joining the Pohang Steelers as expected. So FC Seoul fans over the weekend were visibly and audibly disgruntled over having to see him play in a different K-League uniform. So FC Seoul actually hosted Pohang on Sunday. They actually won the game 4-1, but that wasn't enough to satisfy the fans, as they even blocked the FC Seoul bus from leaving the stadium after the game for almost an hour, as they were continuing to protest the release of Ki Sung-young. And by the way, Ki Sung-young, although he was, on the Pohang team, did not play in the game for either team, which if he scored on FC Seoul, I'm sure the fans would have been even more upset about that.
And Jason, we have got a little more time left for one more story very quickly. The NC Dinos, so going back to the KBO now, they might be leaving Changwon for another city. There are some discussions about that. Could you tell us a little bit about this? Yeah,
this goes all the way back to March or April at the beginning of the season, when the NC Dinos fans had a fan that actually died after being struck in the head by a large metal piece that fell from a pretty high up place on the stadium into a crowded area. Now, obviously, there was a lot of finger pointing after the incident, and the Dinos, they're not happy about how that was handled by the city of Changwon. And that, among other issues, including stadium renovations to perhaps add some more seating as well, is among the reasons that they're possibly looking at new homes. And I still think there's a good chance that the two sides will figure things out, as I think it's a bad look for both sides, in all honesty, if they were to relocate. But the team says that they've already had a lot of much better offers than what they're just asking right now from Changwon City, from new prospective homes. So I don't know where they could move to exactly. It hasn't been publicized. But if I had to make a guess, the places that would make the most sense would be Kimhae, Yangsan, or Ulsan, as I'm pretty sure that they would want to stay within the vicinity of their fan base in Changwon. But once again, if I had to make a guess, I would like to think that they would figure something out with the city of Changwon where they started and just remain there. I think it helps out all parties, and most importantly, the fans that are already there in Changwon that have been there from the beginning.
Right, and it looks like the Yeonsu Dinos have for now extended the deadline for their home city, Changwon, but as you said, there are just discussions regarding that relocation, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Jason, for all of those updates, and we'll see you back. Have a great rest of the week.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jason.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to see you back here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Cultural Wave, and please join us again tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.